Captain, sensors are picking up a highly unusual life form.
What are the coordinates, Foster?
Well, Captain, according to the data, it's located right outside the ship.
Outside the ship? I better take a look myself. Here, take the controls.
Yes, sir.
Take a look.
Bill Nye the Science Guy. Bill Nye the Science Guy. Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Science rules.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Inertia is a property of matter.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
T minus 7 seconds.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
You and I are scientists. We live on the Earth. And you probably think you know your way around. But I can tell you, you hardly know anything about most of our planet. That's because we hardly know anything about the ocean. It's one of the hardest places to get to. It's enormous, for one thing. To see any of it that's just not right next to the land, we need special tools, like ships. The ocean goes a long way out and a long way down! I'll be right with you.
Calypso, I sing to your spirit, the men who have served you so long and so well. So long and so well. Hey, I like that song.
Are you decent, Bill?
To know the world's ocean, you have to travel vast distances. Take a look at this. It's our great big peel-off ocean globe of science. And I'm gonna peel off the land. You can see it's mostly water. It's 2/3, 71% covered with ocean. And if we include the rivers, lakes, and streams, it's 3/4. 75% of the world is water.
2/3 ocean, 1/3 land.
Now, our first tools for ocean exploration were boats. They can take us all over the world. But to do that kind of traveling takes some thinking. Because when you're out in the middle of the ocean, there are no landmarks. There are no great big trees to help you figure out where you are. It's easy to get just plain lost. Well, we can't see most of the sea. It's below the surface. That's a pressure sensor. We read the pressure right here. Now, the deeper we go, the higher the pressure. Here's why. Let's say the string is the surface of the ocean, and these scales are at the bottom of the ocean. The stacks of pennies are like columns of water. The higher the stack, the more it weighs, and the higher the reading on the scale. The deeper you go in the ocean, the more water there is above you, and the higher the pressure. Seawater absorbs light. The deeper we go, the darker it gets. At the bottom, you can't see a thing.
Bill.
Seawater is salty and full of living things. It rots wood, rusts metal, and it can dry out your skin.
Careful.
Oh!
See, I told you.
If you've ever been underwater, like when you go swimming in a pool or the ocean, you've probably noticed that you can't breathe. Ocean exploration is difficult.
People have ventured out to explore the ocean's vast depth and breadth for centuries. And yet, even in this modern age, this powerful and unforgiving force of nature remains on the frontier of scientific inquiry.
We're right here, right on the edge. See, this is Land's End, where the land stops and the ocean begins. So you can go back that way, thousands of kilometers. You'll see lots of roads and buildings and lots of other humans. But if you go that way, thousands and thousands of kilometers, you won't see anything but ocean. Most of it is unexplored. See, all of this right here is all of that right there.
For thousands of years, humans have endeavored to explore beneath the surface of the ocean. The most direct way to study the sea has been to dive right in and explore. Oh, but people are not fish. Underwater, humans have no way to breathe, at least not without special gear.
This is a snorkel. It allows you to breathe with your face underwater. And you might think, why not just get a really long snorkel and dive as deep as you want? Well, it doesn't work because the water pressure on your chest is higher than the air pressure above the water. And the air won't make it down the tube no matter how hard you breathe. Roll that tape.
Bill Nye, the science guy, now is suited up and is lowering himself into the water, equipped with a 3-meter snorkel through which he is attempting to breathe surface air. He's actually trying to breathe. No, wait a minute, he's signaling no air. Yes, that's what he's saying.
So humans invented this, the self-contained underwater breathing apparatus, or SCUBA. It uses very high pressure air from this tank and a special valve that lets just the right amount of air into your lungs so that you can breathe underwater. Roll that tape.
Underwater and breathing normally, our brave explorer can swim with the fishes, commune with the natural wonders of the sea. The daily goings-on beneath the surface are at his fingertips. Unfortunately, humans must realize that life underwater is not without its dangers. Life forms well suited to this mysterious environment can pose problems. Ocean exploration continues to be difficult.
The ocean is a harsh environment, an environment that humans aren't too well suited for. So to explore the ocean, we need machines, big machines, ships. Seawater has a lot of chemicals in them. Chemicals that corrode metal. So every once in a while, we have to haul a ship completely out of the water to get it completely clean. This is the main part of a ship, the part you don't see. Now, the bigger the ship, the bigger the propellers. And when you're out in the open ocean, the bigger the ship, the better.
You might think that the bottom of the ocean floor is just a flat, rocky bottom, like at the beach, right? Well, look at this. This blue stuff is like the ocean water that covers 2/3 of our planet. And this stuff here is like the continents, or the land formations above water. Now, these land formations have lots of features, like mountains, canyons, hills, and valleys, right?
Right.
Check this out. It's working! If we drained all the water off the Earth, you could see that the bottom of the ocean is full of mountains, rifts, canyons, and valleys and underwater volcanoes, too. It's a beautiful landscape. I mean, seascape. I mean, ocean, floor, land, underwaterscape. Anyway, it's always there. You just can't see it.
Right.
The bottom of the ocean is hard to get to, so how do we know what it looks like? Well, scientists used to drop a weight on a rope or a chain from a ship at the surface. By keeping careful track of how much rope or chain was needed to reach the bottom, scientists could measure the depth of the water. Then, by keeping track of the depth at different parts of the ocean, we can make a map, like this. Now, this method works pretty well, but unless you've got a lot of dots, it's hard to get an accurate picture. Nowadays, scientists use echo-sounding equipment instead of weights. By sending pulses of sound toward the bottom and timing how long it takes for the echoes to come back, we can figure out how deep the ocean is. See, if the bottom of the ocean were shaped like my hand, with ridges and valleys like this, the echoes would come back more quickly from the shallower places, and it would take longer for the echoes to come back from the deeper places. See, it works kind of like this pin toy, with each pin representing a ping of sound. See, there's a picture of the ocean floor.
You can see how deeper water has a higher pressure right at home. Just cut 3 pop bottles, like this. Cut the top and bottom off, but leave the bottom on one of them. Poke a hole in the side of each one. Stick them together to make a long column. Make sure the holes you punched are lined up. Tape them here and here to make the whole column watertight. Whoa! There. Now cut another strip of tape and cover over the holes. There. Now fill it up with water. There.
There.
When you're ready, pull the tape off the holes. There. See? The water comes out the holes. It shoots out the bottom hole the furthest because the water pressure is greater the deeper down you go. That's one of the reasons exploring the ocean is so difficult. Human bodies aren't designed to withstand high pressures. But don't just take my word for it. Try it!
How deep is the ocean? Is it as deep as, say, the Empire State Building is tall? Well, take a look. In some parts of the ocean, like the Mariana Trench, you could stack about 36 Empire State Buildings.
Whoa.
It's 11,000 meters deep, 7 nautical miles straight down. The deepest part of the ocean is as far from the surface as we are from that plane. That's how deep the ocean is. Whew!
That's deep.
The oceans cover over 70% of the Earth's surface. 70%. No matter where you live, the oceans affect you. The oceans affect you. Understanding the oceans help us understand the Earth. Understand the Earth.
This is the Alvin. It's a submersible, as we call it in the ocean exploration biz. It can take 3 scientists into the crushing blue blackness of the abyss and bring them back safely. It's got very bright lights, cameras to record, and arms to reach out and grab stuff, samples we can bring back upstairs. It's cool.
This is the hatch, the pressure door. See how thick that thing is? You need that. You know, if that came open while you were down there, well, it'd be like, just. So, Steve, we're inside the ball here.
inside the sphere here, yeah.
It's titanium.
Everything's titanium. It's about 2 inches thick, about 7 foot diameter.
Huh. You take a lot of pressure.
Yeah, we're designed to go down to 4,500 meters. That's about 14,700 some odd feet.
How much pressure is on the outside?
At that depth, it's about 6,600 pounds per square inch pushing in on us.
That's over 400 atmospheres.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
So if that hatch came open, I mean,
that'd be bad. It'd just be like
sort of a.
A lot of people ask, why should they care about the deep sea floor? It's remote. They can't see it unless they go down with Alvin. Well, it turns out that the solid sea floor makes up about 60% of the Earth's solid surface. It's really the largest ecosystem on the face of the Earth. Well, I'm a deep sea biologist. I'm interested in understanding how animals on the ocean floor make a living and how they interact with the sediments. And deep sea is an interesting system in that all the food that's coming down for these animals to eat is raining down from above, either as small particles or as big bodies of animals like fish and sharks and whales that then provide food for animals on the sea floor. The deep ocean is a difficult environment because of high pressure, low temperature, corrosive nature of seawater. One of the ways we deal with this, of course, is we go down with Alvin and we look out of the window or the porthole of Alvin. It's quite surprising. You go down in this elevator all the way down to the bottom of the ocean, but you only have 3 little holes that you could look out and see things on the bottom. We're in the bottom of this huge ocean, but we can only see around 20 or 30 feet, which is only the area of a fair-sized room. And you have a nice, cozy feeling, even though you're on the plains of the largest ecosystem in the world.
This is Jason. It's an ROV, a remotely operated vehicle, a robot, and it's been to parts of the Earth that no human can ever go. It's been to ships that have sunk in 4,000 meters of water. And it's explored ecosystems 6,000 meters deep. And it's taken pictures of animals that probably look as weird to us as this thing looks to them. The whole thing is connected to the surface with this. It's a very strong cable. Scientists up in the control room use this to control the lights, the cameras, and the thrusters. That's the control room, right on the deck of the ship. This is where we control Jason, on the surface, from the deck of the ship. There are 7 kilometers of cable. Jason can go where no person can, where the pressure is crushing and it's dark and cold. See, we collect all the data right here, record all the video from the cameras. We control it with this joystick. It's like a big video game, except it's real. In Alvin, scientists could reach 86% of the ocean floor. With the remotely operated vehicle Jason, scientists could see 98%. It's pretty cool, huh?
Well, the deep ocean has a lot of pressure. If you take a typical styrofoam coffee cup, there's a lot of airspace inside the plastic that you may not realize is there. Take a styrofoam cup down with Alvin, all the air spaces in the cup become compressed. We don't have a lot of air spaces in our body, so we wouldn't get compressed like the cups, but our physiology would stop working and our eyes would probably bug out and we wouldn't be very happy for more than a couple of seconds.
I'm getting a headache. Oh, fix your headache. Oh!
Information of the deep cold ocean. Information, it's an age of notion. 2/3 of the planet's underneath the salty sea. Getting down below the water, it ain't easy, don't you see? There's the pressure, but there's no light or air. Cold temperature, I must prepare to go down there. So get yourself some scuba or a diver suit or bell. Hop in a submersible and you can see quite well.
Well, that's our show. Thanks for watching. If you'll excuse me, I've got some ocean floor bioenergy flux to figure out. See ya!
Produced in association with the National Science Foundation.
Now, you may have heard that we know more about the surface of the moon than we do the bottom of the ocean. Well, it's true. Getting to the surface of the moon is a piece of cake. I mean, it's 400,000 kilometers of nothing. A few $billion, and you're there. To get to the bottom of the sea, that's a whole nother thing, okay? First of all, just to go down 10 meters. I mean, there's more pressure difference between the surface of the Earth and 10 meters down than there is between the surface of the Earth and the surface of Mars. So if you even get started down, you need all kinds of pressure hulls. Okay, you gotta have things that can withstand crushing pressure. And then the stuff's got to be corrosion resistant. You know, salt water just eats away at everything, including you and me. And you know, another thing, you got to take air. That's right. You can't breathe down there, or you got to build something that doesn't need to breathe. And everything has got to have lights, bright lights. It's dark, it's cold, it's the sea.